Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Jeff coming at you with another edition of Accelerate Flow State. And today I want to talk about how business is transformation. So, what do I mean by that? Well, the way I see it is that business gives us a path where inevitably challenges are going to come up, issues are going to come up, adversities are going to come up. And these are all opportunities for us to be creative, marshal the resources that we have to overcome those challenges, to solve the issues, and to move forward. In the past, I've always framed these things as problems, and problems is more of a negative connotation. Whereas when I frame it as a challenge or an issue, it gives me a lot more creativity in my thought process of how I'm going to overcome that and move forward in my business. But inevitably, the path of business is going to present these things in front of you so that you're going to be required to overcome them. And these can be in the form of more physical challenges like technology, human resources, hiring, firing, which also includes a lot of emotional intelligence that's required to do that properly. But inevitably, also, it's going to bring up things within yourself like fears, doubts, indecisions, different patterns of emotional reaction and thought process that is really holding us back from moving forward as quickly or as powerfully as we can. And the more that we lean into these things, acknowledge them, see them for what they are, and build the awareness around them and the tools that it takes to overcome them and repattern, reprogram our minds so that these things are not taking control of us, the better and faster we're going to be able to move through these things and get to where we want to be to build the vision of the business that we want to see brought forth overall. So the more that I kind of build that awareness, the more I'm able to see it in real time. And, of course, like building the tools and having the confidence really to be able to address these things as they come up and not get spun out and down on myself or in a negative loop or spiral about them, or think that I'm not good enough or whatever it is. Then I can just move through it and transmute it and then continue to move forward in my life and my business. So this is a really big piece overall, like kind of a macro viewpoint of business and transformation and the path that you're on, really as a human being. Overall, it's like I believe that we're here to overcome the limitations within us. And again, like business is that transformative path for me, one of those transformative paths for me that holds that mirror up and shows me, basically all of my bullshit and gives me the sense that anything is possible if I just become right in the world. And so one of the ways that I do that is I focus on being present. A lot of these thought patterns that hold us back and give us limitations or limit us in whatever way, they're either anxieties about the future or limitations from our experiences in the past. So let's take each one of those in turn. The limitations of the past are what has been like our reality in real time. And so those things are anchored in because it's our felt experience. And so when we come up against something that is similar in whatever way to the things that we've experienced in the past, those same feelings about that, the resistance to it is going to come up in real time. And if we're not prepared for that, if we don't have the tools to address that, it's going to spin us out and put us into a negative spiral with either lack of confidence or just in a fear pattern of not being able to move forward. We might get overwhelmed. Like that can come up in a bunch of different ways. But overall, it's like that's where it's anchored in the experiences of the past. So how do we deal with this? Well, we can work very diligently to gain that awareness of when we start to fall into these patterns, what caused that pattern, what caused that program to start to run, and what are those lingering resentments or shame or guilt or feeling less than or whatever. What is that thing? Identify it in real time and really just process it, reprocess it over and over again. I do this in meditation a lot. So I that feeling, have it come up in my emotional system over and over and over again, where eventually it just doesn't have any kind of effect. It doesn't have that charge on it anymore. And so that's how I have gotten through a lot of the stuff from my past and reprogrammed and just realized, like, hey, I'm here present right now. Like, I don't need to be wrapped up in what results I got from the past, because I'm a different person. I'm in a different place. I have different people around me. I have different resources. I have different opportunities. I don't need to be limited by this past that has basically created a matrix of thought processes and patterns, emotional patterns that are holding me back. So that's how I deal with the past. In the future, it's more of an anxiety of, is this thing going to happen? How am I going to do it? Am I good enough? Am I worthy enough to have it? These different things that really give us it seems bigger than it seems too big for us a lot of times, and so we don't take those steps. We don't take the biggest moves are the ones you never make. And so oftentimes we don't do that because we're afraid of what that might bring, even if it's the success that we feel we want in our lives. A lot of times, again, sort of our emotional programming and patterning is not prepared for that. Maybe we don't feel confident enough to have that, or we don't feel worthy of it. So how do we get past that? Well, first of all, just practice presence, practice being present in real time and creating whatever you can create in real time without getting too wound up on whatever that thing is in the future. And if you have a big enough mission for yourself, then you are making an impact in the present moment, and you don't have to depend on what might happen in the future. It's like, if everything ended today, would you be comfortable with what you have worked on and spent your life force energy to create? And if it's just about a dollar amount in your bank account or some material object, then maybe this is a good opportunity to go back and check that and see, is that mission big enough? Is that mission going to serve overall in the way that you need to keep you motivated, to keep you excited about what's going on, even in the face of these adversities that will inevitably happen in your business life and career. So that's kind of how I frame all this up, and really pursuing business as a transformative path overall for me personally, from a personal transformation standpoint and personal development standpoint. And when I look at it like that, it's a lot easier for me to get up in the morning and stay motivated and keep taking action, because I know that, what else am I going to do? Like, what else am I here for other than to transform into the highest version of myself possible? So when I look at that in that way and frame it in that way and look at it through that lens, everything becomes easier, and focus on the present moment and not get wound up on the anxieties of the future, the limitations of the past, and everything just starts to happen organically. So take what you will, leave the rest behind. I look forward to seeing your comments in the comment section, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.